Alright, this is part 3 of the Xbox 360, and I guess it's going to also bridge into the Xbox, the OG Xbox collection here. If you're coming from part 1 and 2, welcome. We're just going to get right into it where we left off. Next game after we left off on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection, which is a sweet one. Next game is South Park: The Stick of Truth. Ubisoft did this one, and it's supposed to be just a full-fledged RPG in the South Park universe. All the characters you're used to seeing, all the same hijinks, and pretty hilarious. Very excited to get into this one. It's super highly rated, which kind of surprised me. Like a TV show property turned into an RPG, but supposedly it's pretty sick. So excited to get into that one. It is complete in box, but this was in the era where they were pretty much doing away with manuals. Next up, Soulcalibur IV. This is a sort of different style of fighting game, but still a fighting game. In this one, you play as characters that have weapons. So it is a little bit different than other fighting games in that regard. I know one of the fun selling points of this game was being able to play as some pretty wacky characters, depending on which version of the game you got and what DLCs you had. There were some Star Wars characters that you could play as. You can see Yoda right on the cover. I think you can play as Darth Vader as well, depending on whether you have the Xbox 360 or PS3 version. I'm not sure what exactly the criteria is that determines who you can play as and what's available as DLC, but this one, I believe, for sure has Yoda since he is on the cover. Excited to get into that one. Soulcalibur is a different flavor of fighting game, so that's going to be a fun one to play. Here we have Star Ocean: The Last Hope. I have played through the first Star Ocean game, meaning First Departure R on the Switch. Liked it a lot. Definitely a cool sci-fi JRPG. And this one is fully 3D on the Xbox 360. Looks like it has pretty awesome graphics. It's an action RPG style game with different party members you can switch between. And pretty robust. You can see it's multiple discs here. I think it's a 3-disc RPG with a nice full-color manual. It's in good condition. Excited to play through this one. I believe Square Enix and Tri-Ace did this series. I have a couple of those on Switch too, but I believe this one, which is Star Ocean: The Last Hope, is technically chronologically the first in the series. So excited to see where it all began. Next up, we got Tales of Vesperia. This is in a long-running series of standalone games, meaning you can play them all separately, and there's no continuation of the story or characters, called the Tales series, Tales of. There's a bunch of these, and Tales of Vesperia is one of the very best, if not the best, depending on who you ask. Definitely stoked to play through this. $9 for a solid JRPG adventure on the Switch or on the Xbox 360 is definitely something I'm excited about. They did re-release this a bunch of times. There's a definitive edition on the Switch that might be slightly better, but I'm excited to play through it on the 360. It's an action RPG style game. Next up is Tekken 6. Looks like this one got case swapped to a Platinum Hits game. You can see the gray case. Again, I don't care about that kind of thing too much, as long as everything is in good condition. And this looks very clean. Tekken 6, complete in box. Just another one of those fighting games. Tekken's sweet. I remember playing through Tekken games on the original PlayStation as a young kid in elementary school and absolutely loving it. Here's an absolute banger. The Biggest Loser Ultimate Workout that requires the Kinect sensor that I don't have. I only have this because a friend of mine at work had like three Xbox 360 games left over from their kids' collection. Their kids now being grown up. And one of these out of the house, and I'm happy to take them. So I just threw it on the shelf because I happen to have it, or I just happened to get it for free. It doesn't bother me to have it on there. I don't particularly covet it, but that purple case isn't really good for case swaps anyway, so there it remains. Probably never to be played. And here is one that definitely will get played, though I will maybe play it on the PC. I do kind of like the PC version a lot. But yeah, Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, Game of the Year Edition. This is the game that got a lot of people to even buy a 360 in the first place. This was so impressive at the time, with its remarkable and, looking back, hilarious AI, radiant AI technology for the NPCs. This game is a giant meme. It's very funny, almost unintentionally so when things glitch out and whatnot. But this Game of the Year edition includes the expansion content, Knights of the Nine and Shivering Isles. It's in great shape, complete with both discs. Stoked to play through it. It's an absolute classic, and I do remember playing it and loving it on the 360 when it came out, and it blew everybody's minds with its incredibly bloomy graphics. This game gets a ton of praise. There were a couple Walking Dead games, and they were garbage, supposedly, except for this. This is Telltale Games. They have a very specific, kind of cel-shaded looking art style to their games, and they really get into story. This is The Walking Dead. Won a ton of awards. This is a game that I think is not as praised and well known as it should be, but gets a ton of praise, and I'm told has a pretty tear-jerking story. So we will definitely get into that one. It's a fun one. $6 for this is an insane price also. So yeah, happy to have that in the collection. I did like The Walking Dead right when it came out. Definitely felt like it fell off and I lost touch with it, but excited to get into the story from a different angle. This here, one of the most pristine games I've ever purchased and received. It is so clean I can't hardly find a flaw. Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings Enhanced Edition by CD Projekt Red. Has the map, has the manual, all the discs, including the soundtrack. Totally complete. This was so unbelievably overprotected in the shipping on eBay, and I bought it for like $11. I was just very impressed with that eBay seller. Very excited to play through that. The Witcher is an awesome franchise, and that thing is pristine. Here's a game I picked up to play co-op with my son someday when he's a little older. Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Not sure how brutal and scary this game gets. It's only rated T, but my son is 5, so I think it's going to be a while before we can play this. But anyway, this is, I believe, kind of dungeon crawly, co-op, beat-em-up style game where you advance through dungeons. Xbox 360 has a couple extra characters. I know there's a gold edition to this that's worth a lot of money. This is just the regular edition. I don't feel the need to blow $100 to get a couple extra characters or whatever it is that you get. I'm going to have plenty of fun with this, playing through it myself and with my son someday. Excited to take a little rip through that game. Next up, Ultra Street Fighter IV. Street Fighter is a series that likes to release 100,000 copies of each of their games. I know there's a Street Fighter IV, Super Street Fighter IV, an arcade edition. The one you want to get is this one, the Ultra Street Fighter IV. This is everything compiled into one game. They essentially just keep re-releasing it to print money, but they add characters and skins and stuff. This has everything, to my knowledge. This is like the most complete version you can get. I don't believe that it came with a manual initially, hence the product information on the inside cover. But this is a sweet game. The graphics are awesome. It plays great. And it does have all the extra content. So Ultra Street Fighter IV is the one you want to get. Just another fighting game for the collection, for a guy that sucks at fighting games. Next up, this is another game that my coworker had, that he just gave me. Not a high-value game, but I was surprised to learn that Rockstar, the Rockstar that makes GTA, Red Dead Redemption, all that, made this table tennis game. And people actually like it. It's well made. It's fun. And it is complete in box. So I'm pretty stoked to just mess around in this game. I don't know how much playtime it's going to get. Not an expensive game, but actually stoked to have that in the collection just as a fun Rockstar Entertainment oddball. Next up, we got of course, the Walmart exclusive of Tomb Raider. This is when they rebooted the series. Crystal Dynamics really knocked it out of the park. They followed this up with Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Games are awesome, kind of Uncharted, if you've ever played that series, in its presentation. A lot of QuickTime events, very cinematic. It's not going to be for everybody, but if you do like games with sick graphics and some sweet stealth combat, this is a fun one to mess around in. And for the time, Tomb Raider, and especially Rise of the Tomb Raider, blew me away with its graphics. I think Rise of the Tomb Raider, probably now going back, taking off the rose-tinted goggles, the performance is probably not amazing, frame rate-wise, but still a triumph to get that running well on the 360. Here's a game that I believe you could get for free in the Xbox 360 online store for a while, Too Human. I believe this one had some licensing issues and a lawsuit for maybe stolen assets or something. Don't quote me on that. There was something with this game, and it ended up just being free. And they stopped circulation of the physical product, but this is just ultra cheap to get. Fun game. I believe it's another action RPG. I paid $4.40, as you can see. But yeah, it looked fun. The gameplay looked fun enough. Kind of mobs of enemies that you're mowing down with your cool action RPG powers. And this is the other oddball that I got from the coworker. I've never really seen demo discs for the Xbox 360, and yet sure enough, this is demo disc number 71. I thought this was super cool because I never see demo discs for 360 anywhere. It's got playable demos for MLB 2K7, Winning 11 Soccer 2007, Alien Hominid HD, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Worms. Those are all, well, mostly pretty sick games, honestly. And it's got some other content, some themes for your Xbox, which probably don't work anymore. Videos of games coming up. Preview for BioShock and the Darkness. Those were big games. Again, I don't have things like BioShock in this Xbox 360 collection because I'm going to play them on my retro PC. But I just thought that was so cool to have a demo disc for the Xbox 360. Moving on now, I think I'll just, because there's a lot of 360 games here, I'm going to go through some recent pickups, and then I'll finish off with my original Xbox collection. I'm going to move pretty quick here. So I picked up Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This is a game that is remembered very fondly by me and many others. Very fun online. These Modern Warfare games, particularly the first two games, were just so sick. So fun online. Along with Black Ops, kind of really moved the shooting genre in a direction. Very fun at the time. Got a little tired after a while, in my opinion, as far as the style, but man, those were so fun when they came out. The disc on that is not in great condition, but I do plan to get that resurfaced. Grand Theft Auto V. Here's another shame game. I was kind of done with Grand Theft Auto after 3. I didn't play a lot of 4. I played Vice City, so I guess that's not true. But 3 was just thousands of hours, I swear. But Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5. 4 I've barely touched, and 5, the most played and bought game of all time, I've never played. And it's a game I will like, for sure. But I just, for whatever reason, didn't own it and haven't played it. And so I purchased it on the 360. I also own it on PC on Steam now. So I'll be playing through that at some point. I just know it's a big game and I want to give it the time it deserves. Next up, a JRPG I had my eye on, probably maybe the last JRPG on the 360 that I have an interest in, Infinite Undiscovery. This is a Square Enix game. They may call it Quality Games. It's a fun action RPG style JRPG, classic JRPG tropey story. Good fun. Excited to play through it. It's a nice, bulky, heavy game, multi-disc. You know it's going to be a good time. Big, sprawling RPG. So excited to play through this. There's a couple other JRPGs that I don't have, that I don't know that I'll buy. The Last Remnant, Resonance of Fate. If for whatever reason you're watching this and you've played those, let me know if they're good, because they looked sort of medium to me. Here's an original Xbox game I just found yesterday, actually. This is Sonic Mega Collection Plus. I got it for $6. Nice and heavy. But it comes with the original 3 Sonic the Hedgehog games, and a few others, like Sonic Spinball, Sonic and Knuckles, and then a bunch of the Sonic Game Gear titles. Plus a bunch of like secrets and info and stuff. Big, thick manual. I just thought this was really cool. These like collection discs tend to appreciate over time. And even if it doesn't, I mean, the Xbox is pretty old at this point. I'm excited to take a run through this. Next up, to complete the Dead or Alive series, Dead or Alive 3, this was the one I was missing. Grabbed this the other day. Dead or Alive is a sweet franchise. They always have great graphics, and they're fun to play through, so grab this for $8 on the original Xbox, complete in box. Pretty excited to play through that. Batman Arkham Asylum, $4 is a great price for this. This is the Game of the Year edition, complete in box. I see this go for like 10 to 12 on eBay, I think, so this was a great price for what is a great game. I wanted Arkham City too, but they had it for quite a bit more money at the store that I went to. So we skipped it for now, but Arkham Asylum I wanted to add to the collection. Enslaved Odyssey to the West. This is like what most people consider a hidden gem. Great graphics, very fun game, just didn't get the attention it deserved for whatever reason. But a lot of people say this game is absolutely awesome. Got some like DLC here. I don't think that works anymore, most likely. But really excited to play through this. People really like this game, and it just doesn't get the attention it deserves. And I'm excited to play through it and check it out. Here's a game I grabbed when I was on vacation. This is like the Terraria. This is the Platinum Hits version. This is a very well-known game. It seems like kind of a 2D Minecraft plus with some RPG fighting elements. I'm going to play this with my son when he's a little bit older. I know this is like the slightly older, slightly more mature version of this style of game where you build stuff, but there's also spooky monsters and whatnot. So not great for a 5-year-old probably, but going to be fun to co-op with my son someday. LA Noire, which is a game that I thought was really cool when I played it at the time. I rented this at a game store, played through a good chunk of it. It's really cool. They did some cool facial recognition technology using the engine, which is pretty silly to look at in 2024, but was revolutionary at the time. You kind of interrogate people and read their facial expressions to figure out if they're guilty or not, to get information out of them. I think it's cool, and I'm excited to play through it. This is a really nice copy. Super good condition. Got it on eBay. Battlefield Bad Company 2. I think most people remember this game fondly for the multiplayer. Whoops. But I'm excited to play through the campaign. I don't think the multiplayer works anymore. Even if it does, I'm just going to play through this on single player. Still excited to give it a run. Project Gotham Racing 2. This PGR, Project Gotham Racing series, gets a lot of love. It's an amazing racing series that just kind of died for whatever reason as the years went on. Maybe killed off by Forza and Need for Speed or something, but has all sorts of different inserts, big, thick manual. It's in great condition, and I got it for, I think, like $5 at a local store. So I'm excited to play through this game. I do like having quite a few racers as well, if you haven't noticed. Borderlands 2, sequel to the Borderlands game that I showed in the first video in the series. Borderlands 2, I think, is where a lot of people think they got everything right for the most part. I'm excited to play through this. It does have the art in the back of the case, if you can see that. Probably a reversible cover. These games are fun, and this is in really good condition. I think I paid maybe 10, 11 bucks for this, and it's pristine. So excited to play through those games again. I won a bid for $1.50 on eBay for this complete in-box original copy of Oblivion. I already own the Game of the Year edition, as you saw, but this is the original copy that came out. The disc is a little rough, but I bet it plays. Just a little bit scratched up. Has the manual, and yeah, $1.50 with free shipping. I just kind of sniped this. Apparently no one was looking at it, and it was so cheap that even though I have Game of the Year edition, just to have this other version of Oblivion, because I love the Elder Scrolls so much, for $1.50 was a no-brainer to me. I just wanted to get it on the shelf. And then Fable 3. I do love the Fable series. I think Fable 1 is okay. Fable 2 I really, really enjoyed. Fable 3 I've never played. It got kind of medium reviews. There's a lot of stuff they changed that people didn't like. I don't even remember what those things are, so I think it's the perfect time to pick the game up and give it a more objective opinion without the tainting of critic reviews and other people's opinions. I want to judge it for myself, and it was like $8 because it's a pretty common game. I think this not for resale means it was bundled with something at some point. I don't think that's rare at all. But yeah, kind of a little variant there. So pretty cool. Quick running through the Xbox original games. Conquer Live and Reloaded. This is a remake of the N64 Conquer's Bad Fur Day with better graphics. Very fun. At one point, my friend and I had discovered an exploit in online play, and we were number 1 and number 2 in the world in a certain online leaderboard on here in the multiplayer for like the first day or two that this came out. This is a funny, over-the-top humor, very crude adventure. It is a lot of fun. It's hilarious, but definitely not for kids. Continuing the theme here, we've got Dead or Alive 1 Ultimate. This is just Dead or Alive, the first game, Ultimate Edition, which I assume has extra characters and skins, as is the trend with these types of games. I wanted all the Dead or Alive games because they have cool graphics and they're fun to play. I also have Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate. Same thing. This is the Ultimate Edition on the original Xbox. Probably comes with some extra characters versus the original release. And I just like having these fighting games to play on these systems. And I kind of wanted the full set of Dead or Alive because they're relatively cheap. Grand Theft Auto 3. This is my original copy from way back when. Played this an unbelievable amount. Case has got some scuffs on it. It's a little bit busted. It does still have the toaster that it came with originally. Manual, disc. Excited to get back into this. I play it on PC every now and then just to mess around, but excited to jump back in on Xbox too. That's how I played it originally and would just drive cars around, and I'd say 90% of the fun in that game, while the campaign is fun, is just messing around. It's a good time. Half-Life 2, $3 for one of the best first-person shooter games of all time is hard to beat. I bought this a long, long time ago. I assume it's probably still not very much more expensive. It sold a lot of copies back when Valve still made video games. Complete in box, it's in great shape. Definitely a revolutionary title. Great to have one on the Xbox. We've got a jank copy here in a purple Connect case of Halo Combat Evolved. Definitely printed artwork here, but I did not have Halo 1, and I wanted a Halo 1 copy, so I picked up this copy at the discounted $6.99 rate at the local shop. Want to support the local business, and needed a copy of Halo 1 on the shelf. Followed up with Halo 2, which I sank half of my adolescence into this game, most likely. Used to take it very seriously, far too seriously. Spent far too much time in it, and don't regret even a single minute of it. I have many friends to this day that the kindling of our relationship was entirely playing Halo 2 online in our teenage years. So it is complete in box. However, this disc I bought on eBay. A little rough, but if you know anything about being a teenager in the 2000s, Halo 2 discs did not survive the rage of ranked matchmaking. Mine is no exception. I have no idea where it ended up, but replaced that disc by buying a disc-only copy on eBay. Jade Empire, one of the few JRPGs on the Xbox. This one, it's a BioWare game, believe it or not. The company that did Dragon Age and Mass Effect and was so huge in this time, they went and did their own IP. Jade Empire tried something different. This game is apparently pretty good and just didn't get a lot of love in terms of reception. It didn't get a lot of promotion, and it did not sell terribly well. Looks like this was a family video copy at one point, which is a game rental store akin to Blockbuster in the Midwest, or at least it was. I think they just went out of business. And my favorite Xbox games of all time, some of my favorite games of all time, Max Payne, complete in box, of course. I've played this game once a year since the year it came out, and I plan to continue to do so. It's set in a blizzardy New York in a terrible snowstorm, so I always play it when the snow falls as kind of a tradition, kind of a weird personal thing, but I do love that game. Bought it for like $2, and the sequel, The Fall of Max Payne, Max Payne 2. These games are awesome. If you've never played through them, they're super cool, gritty, some dark humor. Well, not for kids, obviously, but a very good game, great story, and a really fun action. This is kind of where the bullet time mechanic really took off, where you jump in slow-mo and shoot bullets, kind of like The Matrix. Awesome series, one of my favorites of all time. I don't have Max Payne 3 on the Xbox 360 because I do own it on PC, and I also didn't love the direction of the story in that one, though the gameplay is cool. I just felt like some things were missed that I wanted to see from those games as a diehard fan. So it's not my favorite, but I will admit it's a very good game. I just don't own it because I have it on Steam. This is the Combos. Sega GT 2002 is not why I bought it. I bought it for Jet Set Radio Future, a game that I used to play with a friend of mine. We had a lot of fun in this game. It's a super cool cel-shaded art style that aged really well. This is a complete in-box copy with both game manuals, and the single disc has both games on it. This game is cool. It's a lot of fun. The Jet Set Radio Future is why I bought it. Having an extra racing game is just kind of a bonus. But yeah, it's a sweet game. It's worth owning. Long time ago, I bought Ninja Gaiden from a local shop for $3, and was excited to try it out, play it on the Xbox, and got home and found out that inside was actually Shrek 2. So this is Shrek 2 in a Ninja Gaiden case, and I have not remedied that since then. This was probably 10 years ago, and I'm still disappointed to this day. Here's the original here, Platinum Hits version, Xbox Splinter Cell. Pretty common series that most people are aware of. It's a Tom Clancy game. This is where the stealth stuff really started to pop off. There's a few of these early Splinter Cell games that are just awesome, this being no exception. And for $2, what a game to get for $2. Fun to go back to. Graphics are a little rough on the Xbox, of course, compared to the modern era, but it doesn't matter. The gameplay is so fun, it's worth it. And then last original Xbox games currently is Soulcalibur II, what most consider the best Soulcalibur game ever released. Bought this on eBay at a good price. I think this might have been another eBay Goodwill purchase. Pretty sweet graphics for the Xbox era. The combat mechanics are just very well polished here, and the game is pretty well balanced. So a lot of people love this game. This is the Platinum Hits version. I don't care about that. Soulcalibur 2 is a gem on the original Xbox. And that, unless I'm missing something that I can't see, I don't think so. That's all of my Xbox and Xbox 360 games. Appreciate you checking it out if you did stick around. Again, I'm mainly making this for myself. But if for some reason there is some interest in seeing some of my other stuff, like my Super Nintendo, Switch, N64, whatever, I might roll through those just for my own entertainment. And you can check those out if you're interested. Otherwise, yeah, have a nice day.